Jimmy. So what's on the live stream now is just the website as a screen share. Let's see. This is what happens when you get too many tabs open. So I was trying to see if it was playing in YouTube, but same issue as before. I need to be the admin first. Sorry, that's the wrong URL. That's the YouTube URL. Invite. Thank you. Uh-oh, I think people are commenting on the particle. I think they're getting lost downstairs and mentioning things on the particle.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see if we can do it.
All right, I'm going to copy this link and Discord it to you in the meantime.
Let's see if it does. I don't see any comments.
I got talking and I thought we should just set up first so that I know when I'm ready and then I can diverge from there. By the way, if I use this table for a sec.
Yes, please. Yes, this is where you'll sit to talk.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you, by the way, for shirts. If it's not there yet, I will wear it all over AW. If it is here, I'll do a midway change and represent.
Yeah, they didn't ship yet, but look through the box and the bag, see if there's anything that you like. They have hats and other things.
Okay, so let me get back to Riverside here. So we'll have both of our phones as recording devices. We'll keep yours steady, and I might move around a little bit to get some more close up.
Okay.
We're running it through Riverside, Caitlin, so that we have a recording and can chop it.
Nice.
The only problem with Riverside is I have to use Chrome, not Safari, and then it won't use that camera as a result.
Oh.
Chrome doesn't recognize the content camera.
Oh.
But if I do OBS, it was working. I had it working in OBS before.
Is that what Athena wanted too when she was saying like they need to screenshot?
No, we're doing demos outside for them
Okay.
because they're not going to do a talk tonight.
Yeah,
They're
we're
hosting
gonna-
another event in Berners Fair right now.
We're 2 days today, but we'll try to get them in LA.
Yeah.
It's easier.
I'd like to keep the Riverside recording stable.
Okay, but then the
But
camera's
if-
not going to work. In case.
Okay.
I could try it one time real quick. But
I mean, we can have redundancy and get 2 different recordings and cut between them if you want.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can use OBS and record from your phone. And then I'll use this one and record
that
from
might
this
work.
one.
The only other way, I
Hey,
think,
Eva, obviously, hi, I saw you earlier.
Great to see
Great to see you. How you been?
Good, good.
Yeah?
We're just deciding how we're going to record and stream tonight.
Ooh, we're streaming.
A little bit, yeah. So we have Riverside and OBS and certain devices work with certain things, obviously.
Okay, all right. Well,
So
well,
you know how it goes.
all right, I'm just gonna join the Riverside via Chrome here, unless Safari works better.
Right. So your laptop will join, but not your phone. Is that what's
Oh no,
happening?
it shows up here.
I'm seeing you. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. So allow as an insight. Okay, that's actually working. So that's good. Riverside wants to show notifications. Sure. So now I just need to make sure I can share my screen, right? Let's check my call Bobby, and unlock some headphones.
And yeah, I'm previewing the live stream, and it is working. Right.
But why I can't seem to get We'll test audio in a sec, but we gotta connect first.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, now I see you. Okay.
Okay. See your graphic.
And
It says uploading. It's up to 26%. I'm not sure what it's at.
okay, so in the Riverside window, do you see yourself and the screen share right now?
No, I just see one of your graphics as background.
Okay, so you're not seeing it.
No.
All right. Well, that tells me that it's not great.
All right, let's just do the OBS thing. I don't want to make it too hard on the folks.
Yeah, I mean, so what I can do is record from here.
It's uploading as if we finished.
No, it's constantly uploading, but I see you
But
at,
the percent was low. It was like 25%.
yeah, it's saying 38% right now. I think it's because we're on the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to run OBS then. Let's just do that.
Okay, so all I see is you right now, and this is.
I muted my speakers.
Okay, that's your phone.
The phone should be on. There should be no audio coming from the phone, it's just a camera. This is on. If I turn this down, and then when I press the change.
Do you have any cancellation on you?
My speakers are on the laptop.
So I'm muted right now.
I don't know what else it could be. The phone is on the
this.
that one is.
I want to keep this as a second.
All right. Are we going to try this, or we want to go with the safe path? I'm a little worried about the network.
Okay, why is it keeps coming through at least two? Let's try it this way. Okay, so we're going to keep all your mics muted and just use mine for a second. But I see you well in the stream. And from here, I would be able, the projector goes to the area right behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fine. You look great right now. Do you see yourself in the window?
I don't know. No, I see a little window with your graphics, and that's it.
Okay.
No, it's-
Yeah, it's definitely coming from your, I'm getting
There's a
good,
little thumbnail of you, but it's not updated.
I'm getting good video from your phone. It looks good from your
You
phone.
want to test this mic?
All right,
it should be being
let's turn your mic back on and go to, not the 8 phone mic, but the other one, is that?
iPhone is the one, no, yeah, right, not iPhone's camera, and then this is a Scarlett mic.
Okay, for some reason it wouldn't let me switch the mics. I think it might want you to do it on your side.
Oh, I'm muted anyway.
Yeah, I muted you to get rid of that.
I can't switch it either.
Oh. Yeah.
It's there in the list, but it won't let me select it. Maybe if you unmute me.
Let's try again.
Although the iPhone microphone says it's selected. That's really weird. Yeah, it's unmuted, but it won't let me pick. Maybe I should leave it back. Then nothing's really working on this.
We're getting, yeah. It's between these two that's,
Yeah, we gotta not use iPhone mic, just this one only.
okay. Let me see if I can switch it. Mm-mm. Nope, it won't let me switch it. Okay, so
Here, God, let me switch it. So like we have a bunch of hats, black and white hats. We have a small collection of T-shirts. We got a variety of things. I'll give out the stickers for free. I think in my backpack. I may need to get them later. Remind me later. We printed like 500 XR Guild stickers, so everyone who wants a sticker could just take one. Are they in there?
I just printed
There's
one.
shirts, there could be stickers.
There might
There's
be
a stack of stickers, but it
stickers.
might be in my backpack. In the other
Okay.
room. I'll check it out in a second.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start recording. Hit Karen's back. Okay, so we're recording now, and it's okay that the camera's on me, but I'll shift it over when it's your turn. And I have to do it manually because it's like the drinks on. Okay. So welcome everybody. This is a typical meetup we do at XR Guild. Thank you very much to our host. The XR Lab at UC Berkeley. This is part of the School of Architecture. They use a lot of VR headsets and do other things. So this is the right group of people to be collaborating with. I just wanted to introduce Botan for a second. He's our host and helped provide the space for us. Thank you very much. Is there anything you wanted to say?
I just want to say welcome everyone at Berkeley and also at the XR Lab. And I'm very happy that we are having the second XR Guild event here.
Yep.
And then maybe we can have more. Yeah.
Yes.
Every time there's some good food, good company, and then good talks and demos. So we would love to have you back. And with that, I will pass it to the talks. But just one logistics that, if I understand correctly, a couple of cameras rolling, and then there's streaming and recording. Just so that you know that we are being live.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully
All right.
we have everyone's consent.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted
to be part of this.
If you don't want to be recorded, probably sit in the back.
Yeah, we're not. I think we may not do the exact streaming, but it'll come out on our website later. AWE is also supporting us, and so we'll learn how to do that properly in the future. We didn't quite get it all set up right, but we'll fix that. So with that, I wanted to start just a couple of slides about the XR Guild. Those of you know, probably most of you know about it, so I'm going to go pretty fast. And then Caitlin can be our first speaker. So this is the order of the folks that we asked to come up. We'll do Caitlin and Jimmy and Julian and Jerry will close it out with a great talk. And then we have demos afterwards. You might have seen some of the demos, but the hour after the talks is meant for trying all the demos, hang out as long as you want, and then we'll clean up later. So the XR Guild, if you're not too familiar with it, these are some of the things that we do. We started it with the idea that we wanted to be activists and actually do things and not just be an association of nice people, but we actually wanted to build things and share. So one of the first things we built, and Julian will give a talk on this, is that the team that volunteers that worked on this built a thing we call the XR Guild Library, and that's what you see on the upper right of the screen there. And they curated a lot of articles. If you want to learn about ethics in the space or about what has gone wrong in the past that we can learn from, the library is a great resource to look at that. They've hand curated lots and lots of stuff. It's something that could save people a lot of time to go and look and see what to learn from history. There's another thing we added in the last year or so, which was originally just a slide, but now it's an interactive 2D timeline. Julian urged me to go finally write that. And so you can zoom in on the timeline and see all the events, and it's the truest history of XR that we can possibly make. What's also great about it, it's like a Wikipedia, so if you're a member of the XR Guild, you can edit it, you can add to it, you can augment it, change it. If we got something wrong, come and fix it. So that's now at timeline.xrguild.org, libraries at library.xrguild.org. And one of the big things we're doing the past couple of years and at AWE as well is mentoring. So we've been doing cohorts of mentors where they meet, say, monthly with the mentee and help them in their career or issues that they're dealing with, privacy, whatever we have experience with. At AWE, we're also signed up a bunch of people to mentor people who are first time at AWE. So they'll kind of show them the ropes and welcome them in. I think it's one of the greatest things about people in this field is that we're very welcoming and we like people coming and joining the field. The more the merrier. It's not an exclusive club at all. So if you're interested in mentoring or having a mentor, let us know. Last thing I'm going to say before we turn it over to Caitlin is we have some events coming up, especially at AWE. Those are the next big ones. So Evo and Trond, who are on our board, have organized this thing called the Conference. We've done it every year now. We're on the third year of doing it. Fourth, maybe?
Fourth.
Yeah. So it's an unconference because it's not a person standing up in front and lecturing like I'm doing now, I'm standing, but everybody gets to talk to everybody. So we sit in a round table, 8 or so people. Sometimes we record so that we can take notes. You don't have to. But the idea is to learn how to talk about these things in a way that we can be persuasive and share, but also listen. So it's not just a one-way conversation. Everybody gets a chance to talk and learn something at the same time. We're doing a special networking dinner. So if you're going to AWE, we'd love to have you come, and we're going to put a site up very shortly so you can buy tickets. Usually in the past, we would just split the bill. And that got very complicated when you have 50 or 60 people. So we just said this time we're going to sell tickets, and a little bit of the proceeds will go to fund programming at the Guild. So we hope everyone going to AWE will join us for the dinner. We have plenty of room. We're also helping with the Augies after party. So the night of the Augies, MIT Reality Hack is handling the main part of the party, but we're going to have an area in it for demos. So if you think of additional demos that we think we should be showing at AWE, that's a good place, other than the expo floor, to come and show your demos, and we have room. So we'll try to accommodate interesting demos that fit the theme up in the Guild room. And then finally, we have our monthly meetup, but we're going to do it live. So everybody who wants to meet and greet from the Guild can join us at 9 a.m. on the last day. All right. So now it's time for Caitlin. So you consider stand up. It's up to you. I'm going to share my screen. And Caitlin wisely brought a clicker so she doesn't have to push the keyboard. And take it away. You got
Thank you.
minutes.
Yeah, I brought a stopwatch.
Did you want me to introduce you, or did you want people just read it?
Yeah, why don't you introduce me? I feel like standing because I can see people better, and that's great. So hopefully everybody can see me. How's the mic? Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I think it's good.
Yeah. So Avi, brief.
Okay. So this is a little bit more personal info because I've known Caitlin for a while now, and we've gone on hikes together and all that. So really great person and knowledgeable about the field, and is the reason we wanted Caitlin to go first is because she's also really good at warming up the crowd and doing an icebreaker. And exercise is very much the best expert I know at mindfulness. And we wanted to start out on a sort of a good sense of that and get you all involved and joining us, so it's not just a one-way conversation. And she's an author of some really good books, so check out her book.
So thank you. And this is, I'd like to say it's really human, informal, but also we care about what we're doing. So I take it, I think our most precious resource is time and energy and attention. So I don't take it lightly that you're here. I also noticed that I am not a J name. I'll be followed by 3 J speakers. So yeah, so I'm in the river, and Avi and I have gone on a lot of hikes and hiked labyrinths together, and just, I think in spatial, we are spatial. And Avi told me that a labyrinth makes you adaptive because your body has to switch directions and shift and change. So come as you are, and there are many reasons beyond this talk that I appreciate this group and all of us in our multifaceted curiosity. So today's very brief talk is really focused on problems and solutions, because I take problems very seriously. I've been working in the field for 2 decades in XR. And as a teacher, as a designer, as an author, I'm thinking about the goal of our intention meeting our attention better. And I teach digital well-being at places like Stanford and the University of Oregon. And with my students, I'm always thinking, well, how do we better manage our attention? And it doesn't mean we have to be fixed and locked on all the time, because my #1 emotion that I prioritize is wonder. So what's bringing us into a state of wonder and awe, and all ages? I think we're kids in bigger bodies. So a lot of us really want to get into that state, but we don't really know how to access our intention. So sometimes we end up in this kind of compulsive hook. And then people tell me, well, isn't digital well-being an oxymoron? Because well-being should be about turning off digital. And I say, no, it can be the solution if we design it better, with better intentionality. So that's the origin of MindWise, my company. I founded it 11 years ago. And yeah, thank you. I had a dream. The dream became a reality. In the middle of the logo are 2 birds. It's an Art Nouveau design, and the 2 birds are meant to sort of embody our curiosity facing out to the world, but then you have the tips of the wings touching another bird saying, do you see what I see? I'm out here collecting stories and I'm not alone. So goal is to overcome the loneliness epidemic, and through Mindwise, a lot of my designs have led me to places like Zurich Film Festival, where I learned about XR over 10 years ago being a film journalist, and I started to shoot with 360. Anybody else love 360 cameras? Motion capture, awesome. Yeah, so I got really into it, and then I thought I was on the carpet taking interviews, why not start to world build? So that led me into world building with a spirit of mindfulness and well-being, and thinking about places like this, like a virtual moon garden, where I thought, how can we embody better states of connection and also kind of a soulfulness that seemed to come into my body whenever I put on a headset. So that's why, even though XR, I'm also designing in AR and different applications, I really think virtual reality is special. And along the way, I've also been a writer, I'm a poet. When books come out and I have research to share, I'm usually sharing, thank you. Botan, that's great. I'm usually sharing in physical spaces, but also why not virtual? So I think a lot of us feel a certain pang when we recognize the avatars in the space. This was all space, and my book, Design in Wonder, came out, and I thought, why not have the cascades around us? And Laurel Van Fossen helped by building this world. I was standing on a book, and I felt like Alice in Wonderland. Or this space is one in Engage, where I thought, we need the Aurora Borealis, because it's people surrounded and sharing poetry and having this winter solstice experience. Side note, I saw the Aurora Borealis for the first time in body, physical body, last week, 2 weeks ago in Iceland. So it was still showcasing in May, who knew? And I got to see, okay, both spaces are awe-inducing. They're different. So digital well-being, when I went to research and write my latest book, I was thinking all about how spatial environments can move us into different levels of understanding and connection, be very healing spaces for well-being, and also it's all pointing to this word experience. A book is wonderful. I have copies with me tonight if people want to peruse. Books are also signals, I think, to conversations and people having discoveries. So every time I'm researching and writing, I'm discovering something new and then integrating that into what I see as the future of embodied well-being and connection and humans staying sovereign in this modern age of AI. So my book led me in many interesting directions, fascinating, both in the world of XR and also beyond it, talking about everything from spatial tech, environment design, wearables and movement, and practices that brought me into conversation with Rodney Mullen, a professional skateboarder who was telling me all about his work with 3D spatial awareness and proprioception. So I bring that up because I really, as Avi knows and a lot of people here know, I embody a spirit of hope, and it doesn't mean this wistful, I hope it works out. I really feel like the future is promising, because right now there's so much at our fingertips, and we're the designers, we're the builders, but we can't do it alone. So my approach to hope is more like Václav Havel, who had said hope is the persistence that knowing something makes sense, even regardless of the outcome. I believe the outcome can be good. XR Guild is helping the way, and I'm part of a lot of networks where I've developed frameworks, including this hero's journey. So it's a map, it's a frame, we can play with it, but the idea is that everybody's a hero, we're all heroes. A collective is playing a role discovering something new when they enter a VR world or an experience with XR, and it starts way before they enter, and it ends when they have some kind of transformation, and then they apply that to the quote-unquote real world and start to cycle back. But they can't do it without a mentor. So these attributes are places and spaces that I have found valuable in terms of learning. It's not always about the content, it can be about the way that someone else makes us feel when we start to play and engage application. So today I just wanted to let you know a little more about my value system underneath, because I really think right now are times for John O'Donohue gracing us with wonder, and especially Viktor Frankl. Formatting is a little funny here, but I think the wonkiness actually emphasizes the point. Viktor Frankl, I brought Man Search for Meaning with me if anyone wants to take a look. He overcame a lot of oppression in his life and developed a theory of logotherapy. Thank you, Nicole. Yeah, and I get goosebumps because he had a quote that between stimulus and response is the space. In that space lies our capacity for freedom. And I've started to apply that to AI design. You know, we need discernment right now, and that space doesn't mean to turn away from the tech and spatial enablement and how AI could help. But what about that space for discernment and for humans having predictive models where we're in the loop, we are creative, we are passionate and sovereign. So a lot of my designs have to do with the human-centered embodiment first, and places and spaces that I integrate with. I tend to be the designer who comes in, advises, and I also have my own applications that are built on that layer stack. And I've been working with places, everyone from schools and universities to companies like PwC and organizations like NASA most recently. So these are some discoveries that I just want to leave us with, and they're postulations where let's open up to a deeper conversation, whether you're listening online, whether you're here in person. I have found that wonder is a way that can leave us flexible and open instead of like this way, one way. Discovery 2 that I've been thinking about recently is that we need more placemaking. You know, the 4 keys to fun, as Nicole says, and facets of wonder, and this idea of, you know, how do we turn spaces and places that seem so serious into opportunities to play. And then discovery 3, as I brought up the hero's journey, is that the modern hero is going to be a community. It's not one person feeling like they're by themselves. So this modern idea of resilience is what I've been leaning into. And as summer is about to be upon us in the Northern Hemisphere, this idea of doing and non-doing. When do we need some fallow time for the garden to grow? With Connection, I have a demo tonight. It's in its basic beginning stages, but it's a spatial wellness garden because so many people were picking up this book and telling me, I love this book, could I have an experience related to it? So it's a spatial sound garden focused on different body mechanics and gestures, and you can be in a space and have a feeling of presence and a feeling of someone else's heart in the space. And if I'm piquing your curiosity, just know that there is a sign up to be part of the demos and be part of the conversations, as this is in a beta stage of the build. I think XR Guild is a perfect space to really show that and have people play around and tell me their reactions. So I've kept it as short as I could. Thank you so much, and I feel empowered together to build a movement. So thank you tonight for being here and being together in community. Thanks, Abby.
Awesome.
I'll
Thanks.
leave it on that while you introduce the next person in case people want to keep in touch.
Okay.
Okay. Or you can move on whenever you're ready.
I just want to make sure it's under ready.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, you ready? I have to adjust the camera for whoever's standing here to make sure I get them centered.
Perfect.
So,
I will go stage left.
did you want to sit or stand?
Would you like to use the clicker?
Sure.
Sure, it's on. Okay, that should
It's more, you want the lights off or on? What are you trying to do?
I'm not particular.
Okay.
Either one.
Alright, let me center you here. And go ahead and advance the slide. Should happen. Maybe have to be having this background. There it goes. Okay. I don't know you as well, so why don't you introduce yourself? We just met on the phone first, where he very patiently explained what he's about to explain to you to me, so that I could write a nice LinkedIn post about it. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to make sure I got it right. So we don't know each other too long, but you know, I'm a fan of all this work that you've done in various companies, and you're sitting there in my opinion, you're solving one of the most important problems in XR, which is how to make it safe. How to make it so that people can do things and have access to the raw camera and things like that, but also make sure it's not stealing our data and not violating our privacy. So he's going to explain how that works better than I could. Take it away.
Thank you, Abby. Maybe I can say a bit about myself. I've worked in the XR industry for a while. Ever since, I was in games before, and then XR since 2017 or so. I worked with ARKit, Unity's first ARKit plugin. I worked on that. I worked on AR Foundation, trying to make common APIs so that everyone could use AR in a common way across ARKit, AR Core, and other headsets as it came out. I worked on Project Mars at Unity, which is more about XR and spatial, like how to do spatial layouts automatically with XR. I worked on a bunch of things at Adobe, Magic Leap, on Magicverse, and then at Niantic with the Lightship SDK. All those basically trying to provide more accessibility to developers, more features to developers, and I'm trying to do the same thing here at Pico. We have a XR headset, and in this case, I'm working more on the hardware side of things, trying to expose that more to developers to be able to provide more functionality and features that they can expose to the users. So what I'm going to talk about today is Secure MR. Essentially, the idea for this came from when I was working in Niantic. I was thinking about, we had a VPS solution, and the VPS solution worked by taking a camera image and using that to place yourself in the world. The problem was headsets at that time would not expose the camera image to third-party developers. So I was thinking of a way that if I was a headset manufacturer, how would I be able to provide a camera image for the functionality, but without actually exposing it to a developer? And so this is kind of like, when I moved to Pico, I was able to kind of implement one of these. I was able to implement that idea, active headset. So essentially, the idea is maybe you can. I'll play a video first to kind of tell you. There's no sound, right?
Intelligent labeling, mapping, and gameplay. But not everything should be shared. Some objects reveal personal health data. Others reveal your identity. Secure MR protects this data in real time. Secure MR runs in a secure system-level service with on-device inference using NPU acceleration. Privacy first mixed reality. Only on Pico.
Good, next slide. Okay, so the main thing about what we have here with XR headsets is XR is actually, our spatial computing is kind of like an interface between us and the digital world, right? So when you use an XR headset, and it basically has to see, everything in the room. It infers poses, attention, like where you're looking, and it operates continuously and basically knows everything about the room inherently. So it blurs the boundary between like interfacing and the personal data that exists around you. So there are some ethical issues that are kind of that are naturally exposed over here. So because there's sensitive data usually in your environment. So at the same time, developers actually want to get all the data they can, the sensor data that they can, to give you a very good experience, right? They want to provide functionality that no one else may have thought of, or some interesting use cases of all this interesting data. So there is kind of like a tension between the capability that it can use and the sensitive data that you might have to expose for that. So if you look at this kind of graph of how that data would be used, the normal kind of usage would be along like the x equals y line there. And as you use more sensitive data, the privacy risk is greater, even though the capability increases. So what Secure MR does is get off that line and basically provide as much data as possible to provide the capability, but not expose that data to the developers. So your private data never gets up. And that's the idea behind it. So what's the system approach is you control access to the spatial perception. You do everything on device. So if you want to do some kind of AI model or a CV model, you can run it on the device. And you have developers are able to use those pipelines and models to enhance their features, like create interesting new features that only they have thought of. And it integrates very well with the platform runtime, and it allows you to provide very interesting new features that people haven't thought of yet. How does it work? So essentially the way it works is the developer provides a graph, a pipeline. So it's kind of like a DAG, like a graph of operators and operations that they want to carry out, and some data that they want to carry out the operations on. And everything is run within a secure environment. So the data never, they can provide data into the secure environment, but the data never comes out of it. You provide, similar to like a shader graph. You would provide some shader graph. You basically provide a shader graph to a GPU, and the GPU will just render whatever you specified in the shader graph. Similarly, you can specify a set of operators. And the example we've shown here is of a face tracking software, right? So it'll basically, you have an operator to get the image, the camera image. So that's the VST operator. And that camera image will be output from that operator. And since it's within the secure environment, it's still not exposed to anyone. Remember, the developer sent down this graph, and they've also specified, okay, on that camera image, I want to run this model. And so you'd basically run a CV model that recognizes faces, for example. And once the face is recognized, it'll give you the pose of the face as part of that operator. And you can use that pose and like you've provided a GLTF to render over the face. So then that pose is used in the next operator, which will render whatever it is that you want to render at the specific position. So essentially, this whole graph is sent down to the secure environment, and the developer doesn't really get access to any of the data, but they're able to provide some functionality that they've kind of designed to provide these functionality. So they're able to sense, and based on that sensing, they can do something. So they can render something or they can do some logic. So in essence, that's now the way I explained it to you, you can already understand that there's going to be some limitations, just like shader graphs have limitations, and scene graphs have limitations. And the limitations are you can't put in arbitrary code. You're limited to the operators that we provide to run whatever you want to run. But we are working on making that easier, making that more useful by providing operators that you can put in actually JavaScript, for example. So you can basically do some arbitrary code, some game logic or some collisions using that JavaScript operator. And another constraint is actually building these graphs may not be easy. and we're trying to provide more things to make it easier to do that. So basically serialized versions of graphs that you have libraries that you can put together to create some of these features. So eventually we'll basically provide these features as packages, and you should just be able to use it out of the box and basically run these without too much coding, essentially. So I think from the last talk, talking about hope, I think this is one of those things where it's something that we hope that people figure out that these things matter, right? And it's not obvious, and it's not de facto right now. So we're hoping that we want to put more things on device and not expose private data to other people, and not expose our data. So basically on-device AI matters quite a bit. So you basically keep your sensitive data off the internet, essentially. Yeah, you can leverage, the NPU on the device or local things that you have. You don't need to be connected to the internet. You can just run your stuff offline completely. And you can have really good personalization. So you can have data that is very personal to you, that you can expose to this secure environment, which it will never get exposed outside. And another part about on-device AI is obviously efficiency, right? Carbon footprint is going to be way better than, I guess, space data centers. So what we're saying is, what should we aim for with responsible spatial computing? We want to try and use these principles like data minimization, on-device processing, auditable access paths. So who's able to access this data? Try to reduce the developer constraints, and get more trust from the users that we are actually protecting their data. So this is SecureMR is one of the components of the broader Pico Spatial ML. It's an XR AI ecosystem. We have upcoming features that are coming in Spatial ML, which include support for Project Swan, which is a new headset that's coming out. We're going to do as I mentioned before, downloadable packages of features that we can enable a lot of XR AI features. So we'll basically have a library of these features that you can just download and run it as needed. We have a Spatial ML capture app. This is for if you wanted to do your own data capture on your environment and do something interesting with it, like train models. And we provide model training tools as well. So you could have very personalized model training with your specific data. So if you're interested in any of these, we have basically these QR codes will allow you to get started on these things. And I think that's all I have.
All right, awesome. I'm just so happy that a large company takes this stuff seriously and is doing the right responsible thing. And other companies some companies are being cautious and not letting you have access. And some companies are being incautious and letting you do whatever you want. And this is a good middle ground of good design and with some limitations that ensure the outcome is safe for everybody. So I think it's really really positive to see such a big company doing that. I appreciate you coming here. Okay, Julian, you ready?
Yes. Hello, hello.
So this is Julian. You've spoken to him before if you don't know him. I'm just going to make sure the camera is centered right.
Yeah, if you can leave that up, that way people can see the website.
Oh, we're going to put the website up first, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. And why is it's white now, but that should be okay. The browser, there we go. So hopefully this is, yeah, that should happen. Okay, so, so I've known Julian a while now, and he's like, you know, Mr. Handy when it comes to the Guild. He does everything. He DJs, but then he also helps plan the rest of the party, and then he also is one of the leads in the library team. So he's just plugging in all sorts of different ways, and we really appreciate it. And like I said, he was the main person kicking my butt to get the timeline done. So thank you for that. And he also has this other project that he wants to tell you about, which is one of his passions of collecting everything that's happened in virtual worlds for preservation, because it goes away and we get bit rot and we can't see these things anymore, and they're part of our history. So it matches really well with the timeline, and we'll shortly make sure the timeline also reflects all those virtual worlds. So take it away, Julian.
Thank you so much. And yes, I've been actually collecting, archiving all of my life. That's just kind of like instinctual for me. And I'm really happy to see people here from our industry. I see Emily with Aurea, I see SVVR, I see Web Spatial. All these companies are represented here, and I love that because everybody's got their niche in our industry. And mine 3 years ago was very simple. Answering the question is, how do you visualize the metaverse? People were trying to define it, some were trying to hijack the term. I'm not gonna say who. And then all of these different kind of aspects of it. And all, as a 3D animator, I just wondered, how do you visualize it? So what I did is I went and I studied all of those people before me that were actually trying to track all of the virtual world platforms. And I created a category system of 7 different exhibits. And then we plugged all those exhibits into a force graph, and we created the first 3-dimensional map of the metaverse. And this is what I want to show you guys because it was just finished this week. So right now, what you see here is the categories on the top. There's a search feature. There's a search feature that allows you to look for any world. So let's go Arrival.
Can we make it full screen?
Yeah, we can try. Let's just make it bigger, because we don't want to take over everything. It might mess up the let me just make sure that the pit still works. Why is that doing that? All right, well, we don't have your camera on right now, but it's okay. Focus on that.
Yes. So for the search feature, we'll go to Arrival, and then so the left part of the window changes into whatever world you're looking at, and then you click on it. So it's not only an interactable map, but it allows you to go to different worlds. And for example, this part slows down when you're looking at the worlds, and then you're able to launch them. So right now we'll go to another one. Let's go to these WebXR worlds, and then the stream of worlds kind of slow down when you're looking at them. So there's frame, and I'm going to click on frame, and it's over here, and then the museum location opens up, and then you're inside of the world right away. So it has interoperability, and you're able to jump in there.
Can you tell us a little bit about these museum locations?
Yes, so the exhibits are built showcasing whatever the worlds that are being represented. Our biggest build is in Roblox. We have a beautiful build there that has a history of Roblox, and it has a time capsule, so you're able to go into different rooms and it shows the year of how those worlds looked for that particular year. So that's a really good feature that we want to incorporate in all the other worlds. We have over 20-something hubs. I feel like we are the brand that has the most presence in all of the different virtual worlds. And then we have a project called the Spotlight Video Series that I work with Ivo Heining and Carlos Austin, where we actually go in and we interview the world builders, we interview the creators, and we bring these stories to life. And right now we're launched a crowdfunding campaign for it, and you can find it on our website, virtualworlds.museum. And we're at 43% in the first week, so we're looking good, and all of those funds go to actually help preserve some of the stories for Rec Room, which is closing in 2 weeks. Multiverse closed a month ago, so we're the only ones that care, we're the only ones that are tracking it, and my thesis has always been that the reason why these worlds are in peril is because the world doesn't see them as an ecosystem. creating a way not only to visualize them, but to be able to be discoverable, and the creators can also find where to go next. Because there are these migration paths that happen. Like some people have left Altspace, lost that world, and now they have their second kind of generation of worlds, and they're losing that. And we actually digitized our museum hub of Rec Room, and we pulled it out of Rec Room and we put it in VR chat. So we're actually pioneering that. How do you move these assets from one platform to the other? And that's part of our research, and that's part of our work. And if you go to virtualworlds.museum, you can learn more.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me hide that again. And we'll go one more
I
slide.
want to say quickly, Julian has also been instrumental in building projects like the library internally at the Guild. Maintaining a weekly group is incredibly challenging with a volunteer organization, and it's only because of volunteers like Julian that we can do programs like that. So if there's something you want to do, reach out to Adi, myself, or any of the other Guild members, because we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but move for a second. Rach.
Okay.
Hopefully this one will be good.
I'm gonna sit, I'm exhausted today,
There you
but
go.
I'll try to pick the energy up for 7 minutes.
So I'll just give you the quick intro, but so I guess I'm always starting by saying how long I've known somebody, but I've known Jerry a really long time. Jerry went to Valve when they were just thinking about what to do for VR and pioneered an alternative way to do it that was better. And it was actually something I had half played with at Microsoft for the HoloLens, but hadn't taken it nearly as far. My boss didn't like me putting laser projectors on your head and said someone's gonna get blind. Jerry went and did it and made it work. And it's the foundation of this company that she's been running the whole time that has this really cool, easy way to do AR that is safe. It's something kids can use. It's great for education. And she's been heads down working on this thing now for years, and is just so dedicated to making it happen. That's why she's so tired, is because it's a lot of work. So thank you for doing that, and take it away and tell us more about it.
Thanks, I'm excited to share this presentation with you because I pulled from 4 different decks and a pitch deck from spanning about 6 years, and our marketing and our business development people saw it today, and they about lost their crap over this because every slide has a different font and a different look, and I love it. I wouldn't let them touch it. So I'm just going to cover where we started, what we did, and where we are now. It's been kind of a fun journey over, Tilt's been around for 9 years, but I've been actually doing this, 13 or something, or 14 with Valve software. So I see a lot of familiar faces here, so I don't have to dwell on a lot of it since you probably know a lot of this story. But once we got the tech out of Valve, we got it developed, we ended up doing a Kickstarter campaign, and in about 6 months, we had the largest ever AR project on Kickstarter, may still be the largest one, knocked it out of the park, and sold about 10,000 of these in the first 6 months. And then promptly went into COVID and had to figure out how to produce these things. Our main focus was bringing people together around the table. So you can see in the pictures, it's, everything designed was like, how do we put 3-4 people around the table and have like 0 friction? This is the pieces of the components for our first generation product. You have your glasses. So these work in a pretty unique way. They project this field out to the special reflective mat and then back to each user, and then each user gets their own view. And then we have a magic wand, which is a really nice intuitive way to like poke and prod at things. Kind of funny, as we were designing that, our industrial designers hated it so much because it looked like a barbecue lighter. But as we were play testing with everyone, even my father, who, if you gave him an Xbox controller, would probably try to stick it in his ear. And, but he knows how to pull a trigger on a barbecue lighter, and so even he could use it. So I knew we were onto something there. Various sensors and stuff, so you can do physical objects as well. So this kind of just shows how the system works. You plug it into laptops, phones, Chromebooks, things like that, and that's where applications reside. Part of our software environment allows any application you develop for to be multi-user right out of the box. You don't have to do anything. So even if it's a solo experience, you can have multiple spectators just by plugging more glasses in. And then the light field is emitted from the glasses, and so the clever part of this was we split up the optic, so we're not limited by field of view. We can kind of set it to whatever we want with traditional optics. It goes out to this retroreflective board, comes back, and you get a unique view, and it's very comfortable to look at just the way it works. Your eyes are focusing at a comfortable distance. And in the game board, there's these little tiny lenses that bring each of the light rays back to the user. And then you have holograms popping out of the table. I didn't make that slide, so I didn't even realize there was going to be a fourth transition there. Talking about COVID, that was a fun experience, trying to bring up production and never set foot into a production facility in China. But we managed to do it only a year late, with only about 10,000 complaint letters from our Kickstarter backers. But we successfully did that, and it was pretty fun finally getting these things out on the market. Once people got them in their hand, and I said that you'd be referenced in here, there was a lot of skepticism about how good or bad this would be, and we're pretty proud we even won over one of the harshest critics out there, Carl Guttag. I think maybe we're the only blog post he's made that's positive about it.
He hates everything.
So yeah, we're pretty happy about it. Won lots of awards. Another funny one here is I went to CES one year. We didn't even have a presence at the show. I was just walking around doing partner visits, and I talked this guy up at the food court. He's like, you want to see something cool? And I showed him, and we won Popular Mechanics Best of CES 2023. Our focus was mainly on games, kind of interesting. We had other ideas what we wanted to do with it first, but being here in Silicon Valley, investors kind of drive your direction. So we went heavy into gaming because it's how you become a unicorn and become $1 billion overnight. And we, working with a lot of third-party developers, brought a lot of games to the system, and that was pretty interesting. A lot of fun. People liked it a lot. We learned a lot about how tough the game space is. Like, you can put 6 months into bringing a game over, you release it, and everyone's happy for 1 week, and then they're like, where's my next thing? And it takes you another 6 weeks to get the other one out. So, overall, our business, we're very happy with how it developed on the game side, but we never got that huge momentum. Let's see here. So the one business, so we've been selling our first generation product. It never slows down. It's kind of crazy. We just keep selling and selling. We already have developed a second generation that's going to be distributed by a partner. We're waiting for them to pull the trigger on that one. So we tailed up our Gen 1 production. We just brought a bunch of stuff over here to Silicon Valley so we could build for partners, and we left the buy button up on our website and just kept selling. Eventually, 6 months ago, we had to make it really hard to buy the system because our poor lab tech was building 60 of these a week by herself, and still you had to click and write to us, and we're still selling tons of them. But the industries it's going into is education, universities, and businesses. And so, we've done a bit of a pivot into that because it's such a strong area for us. And ironically, that's one of the areas we wanted to go into. Me and my co-founder were education. It's kind of our passion is education. And it's really amazing that universities are buying our Gen 1 product, rolling their own experiences, and using it in VR, XR labs. We solve some of the biggest problems in education. Education is pretty passive in a lot of ways. Reading a book or looking at a video on a 2D screen. And there's a lot of data out there that shows that if you put kids into pods or groups and do stuff together, there's hugely measurable increases in how they advance. by like measured in months. A lot of these, like when you start bringing kids together to do activities, they'll advance 6 months faster than students that are just doing, the traditional 2D experience. And this is starting to be recognized, kind of globally now. Like there's a lot of initiatives to get kids off of screens. My co-founder the other day said it's not the photons from the screens that's the problem. It's just how you use it together, because it's not collaborative. And so we're very thankful that we made our system very collaborative from the beginning. And so for the last couple of years, we've been really working on bringing utility to the classroom, and that's it's a little tricky. The education space is tough because you have to provide not only a lesson, you have to provide all of the materials for the curriculum for the teacher. You also have to manage the system in the classroom, have complete courses. And so we've been working with a lot of third-party developers to bring entire courses and all of the teaching guides, as well as technology we're developing to make it just seamless for teachers. And these are just some examples of the courseware that we're putting together. A big part, we were shocked when we went to talk to educators. They love things like VR a lot. It's very engaging when students use VR, but it's an absolute nightmare for them when they try to deploy it in the classroom, because it's very isolating from the real world. Setting up the VR headsets, teachers say like, yeah, sometimes it takes us 15 minutes to like get all the VR headsets set up, and then the kids come in and then they bounce out of the application. They don't know what's going on in it. So we made a classroom management tool that lets us one-click launch lessons straight to the headsets that might be in the back of the classroom. We also have a video stream coming back off all the headsets, make sure the kids aren't being little devils. Things like analytics coming back, like how well are they progressing through the lessons, so the teacher, take that friction away for the teacher. Also on top of that is like just even discovering software in the classroom environment's really tough. It's like super obvious to us because it came from Steam and other places. Like, why aren't we just like promoting straight to the educators, like what's available? So that's also part of our system. This is just some animated GIFs to look pretty here, but this is just some of the applications by various partners. A lot of science. Science is one of those areas when you group kids together, they learn much, much faster. So physics and CAD and, anatomy. These are really compelling, and it's amazing when we stick this on kids' heads. They're doing things with, human body parts you would never imagine. Here's some from another one of our partners, doing various chemistry experiments. There's a couple things that surprised me as we started learning about the economics of school software, or even doing real world things like this frog dissection over here. It's kind of fun. Kids just like abuse the hell out of this frog, and it's really compelling, but they're also learning because they have their virtual avatar guiding them through. But it's very expensive for schools to actually get these frogs that are sanitized and ready to go and refrigerated, and it's about $15 per frog. And so as we present this to educators, it's like, this is great. Maybe we'll still do real frogs, but we'll let them practice ahead of time, and then they'll get more out of it when they actually get the expensive frog. And for us, like, one lesson maybe just $1 or $2. So our economics is far better. And then there's also a lot of fear of like letting kids play with fire and stuff. You could potentially let kids get introduced to some of these dangerous things like Bunsen burners years before you would normally let them do it. And then we also partnered with a company with a really cool authoring tool. We think being able to let educators and experts in this area quickly generate their own lessons is important. So this group had made a really impressive tool that's no code. So you drag in the learning style like as a block that you want to teach, all the data, you bring in the avatars, and it automatically generates this, what do you want to test the kids on the end. And so we're excited that we could have thousands and thousands of lessons based on this platform. As I mentioned, universities all over the world have been using our system. So there's some big players out there that have adopted our system. Carnegie Mellon has an entire program. They have this Alice project, and so we're working in close conjunction with them. So they're really pushing the boundaries of what can be done in education in XR. And so, you know, it's a little more forward-leaning. We're excited to see, you know, what different things they come up with than more traditional learning. And then internationally, a lot of our systems go international. So all across the world, Germany, there's like an interesting group that's doing protein folding. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I don't understand any of it. It's all these balls and ribbons and stuff. And they tell me that like the Tilt 5 is really amazing because they've never had a good way to have a whole group around there looking at electron clouds and stuff. And these folks are doing Bose condensate or whatever, I forget what it's called. But that's also, I put it in here because it was very beautiful. But yeah, that's basically it. What I wanted to present, maybe an update on what Tilt 5's been up to, and hopefully you'll see this year, our partner will get Gen 2 out, and you don't have to be an educator to get it, so grab one, play with it. Backwards compatible with all the old software, so you can play your games just really high performance, high res, lighter weight, all the stuff you'd expect in a Gen 2.
Are you
Awesome.
AWE on the floor?
No, AWE, the ROI is pretty low for us. I was just telling someone out in the hall, like AWE, like a year after we started shipping the product, we went there and it's like, holy cow, we sold 2,500 headsets in like an afternoon. And then next year, like, oh boy, AWE, we're gonna go there and it's like 300 headsets. Like, ooh, and then the next year it's like 100 or something. So maybe once Gen 2's out and some of this, we'll have more of a presence at AWE. But I'm CEO, I have to make those tough calls as much as I love hanging out with the AWE folks.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks for
coming
having
out.
me.
Thanks for All right, so just to wrap it up, you saw some themes between the different talks, and it's not just that I know them all, it's that they are all working on different parts of the puzzle to try to make XR great, not just sell 100 million units, but make sure it's the right thing for people and that we're not abusing them. Right? The whole reason that people think Tilt 5 is magical, it doesn't need any of the addictive stuff that people are building into social media because it just feels good to use it. It doesn't have to have, you know, drugs poured on top of it to get us to want to keep using it, unlike other things. So and that ties back with getting the infrastructure right and getting the mindset right, coming with the right approach, and making sure we remember history and making sure that nothing is lost, because we learn from history what all the mistakes have been made and all the good things as well, and we want to only do better in the future, not keep making some of the same mistakes. So it all fits together, right? That's the theme of the night, and that's what the XR Guild is about, is trying to keep these things alive and make sure everybody is aware, so we're not just starting over each time, that we have a good foundation to build on. All right, so we have demos. And so Jerry's very kind to come drive all the way up here. If you haven't tried Tilt 5, please do the demo. You'll be blown away like I was. We have Pico in the house, and thank you, Pico, especially for helping to pay for the food and the beverages tonight, and being a sponsor of tonight's episode. And they have demos as well. You can see how their stuff is working. And Evo is going to be showing off Burnersphere. They couldn't be here in person. So if you wanted to check out Burnersphere, go to Evo Station and you'll get to see what that's all about. If you're interested in Burnersphere, they gave us a bit of a promo thing to hold you over. So take a copy of the QR code, and that gives you a month.
One free month. And that discount code, they said it's a very small thing at the bottom of the checkout, so just look for that.
Awesome. And I have demo.
Caitlin has demos too. I don't have any demos, but if anyone wants to see the timeline, I'll show you that. But it's not a big deal. You can go online, just go to timeline.
There's a beautiful tower of books, courtesy of Julian, the designer, outside.
Very good.
Signing copies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Get yourself, you know?
I have a signing copy.
All right. Anyone want to just say something real quick before we move out into the demo area?
I'm going to add one last thing about virtual worlds, because it's really interesting that Burnersphere itself is a continuation of what they had built in Allspace with VRCDR. And then when Allspace closed down, they went and created their own app. So that's another migration.
Yeah,
That works.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting.
Nicole?
And then I'm just gonna do a promo, sorry, shameless plug. I'm doing a talk at AWE on making magic. So I was super inspired by Ryan Johnson's Thursday Night Out movie. And although there's no magician in the movie, you know, Wake Up Man, there's no magician in the movie. But then I went and like every key scene, there is an element of, you know, nothing on my sleeves, and this box is really empty. So, so basically, I've taken apart, you know, that movie. So, how did he use stagecraft to make his movie more engaging, make the emotions stronger, and then what lessons can we use to do interaction design that kind of does the same thing? So that's my talk with the
Very cool.
AWE. Looking forward.
After I heard you tell me about that, I went and saw that episode of Knives Out, and you're right, it's the best of the three.
I think it's the best.
I love that. What day is your talk at AWE?
I believe it's Tuesday. I believe it's the first
Tuesday.
Well, just while we're on the subject of AWE, just for a second, and I'll give you the floor in a second. How many people are going to AWE? Just raise your hand. Okay, so for those of you who are going to AWE, if you promise to show off a water bottle to get people to see the logo, take one.
Yes.
It's in the box over here. They're nice small water bottles, so that you're not
Yes.
carrying around 10 pounds of weight. Please, go ahead.
Next month, people are going to have to pay for them, but you get them.
It's a nice design.
It is a nice
Thank
design.
you. And we have lots of swag with that design. If you want a shirt or something, we can hook you up.
Are we plugging AWE talks?
Yes, 'cause-
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
so I'm giving one to AWE about Computer Graphics History Institute. It's Thursday morning. And CGHI is a large reference and research. It's a twofold mission. And then I'll be talking about the science behind it, the IT, and the cognitive science, and in 25 short minutes. So, I won't be doing any demos there because there's no provision at AWE for that. So,
Very cool.
Mine's the 17th, sorry, 5 to 5:30 on the 17th, but it's June 17th.
Evening.
Okay.
Laughing.
All right. Hi, Emily Ullman, and I'm AWE Advisory Council also. I've been a longtime member of this amazing community and industry. I'm going to be giving I'll be on a panel on the last day of AWE. I think we're actually perhaps one of the last speakers will be around 3 o'clock, and it'll be myself, Thursday, 18th. Myself, Elad Offer, who is a creative director from Cohen, and we will be talking about our production of Equus, which we are filming in Los Angeles on Wednesday this week coming up, which is a VR 180 immersive dance experience. So I'm very excited to be talking about our lessons learned and about what it's like to do a high-end production VR 180 film project. So, please come.
Very cool. Anyone else?
Can I make a second? Hi, I'm Caitlin. So I'm going to be at AWE for the full run, including June 15th. It's called the conference, but it's officially day one, according to AWE. So I'll be there. Then on the 16th, I'll be doing a talk that's a little bit different because it's a walk as well. So it's spatial embodiment. We'll meet at the author's table in the lobby at about, I think, 2 o'clock on the 16th. And then I'll take lobby area of the conference for people who want to break from sitting and listening and being really passive. So we'll have learning in that. Jose Ferrer Costa and I are also hosting a meetup the next morning. So at about, I think, 7:30 in the morning on the 17th. Sorry, Wednesday the 17th, we will be meeting for coffee, and that's as part of the interactions that are listed as, what is the name of that? They're the activities at AWE. So if you want to do something and meet other people who are interested in healthcare, wellness, that's happening on the 17th in the morning. And then on Saturday, I'm hoping to stay around LA to go to Rafiq Anadol's exhibit, because in downtown LA, he has this unveiling. It's the first day that it's open, and it's AI enabled. If you've seen any of Rafiq's artwork,
It's a whole
projection
museum.
mapping.
It's a whole museum.
It's a whole museum, and it's beautiful, and it's downtown LA. So if you're interested in going with a bunch of XR enthusiasts,